This is a strange place. Believe me. It's not only this practical joke, it's also listening to a whole presentation and only understanding psychopath. Immediately I knew I was in the right place. Thank you. So, look, again, I couldn't be here the whole time because I had to work. Somebody actually has to make money to enable you to, enjoy your time. So that's what I was doing. So I missed all of the fun, but the organizer assured me that this is a high standard event. I understood you had the theater piece in the middle, very high class and all that. So I'm really glad to be part of this high class event. I hope to fit in. Not what you think. Anyhow, listen, I am a conductor, as you know, and I do speak about conducting and styles of leadership through conducting. But the funny thing is, again, the organizers asked me to do something along those lines, but different, because some of you may know the talk. And I thought, ooh, yeah, that's what we want from life. Most of the time. We want the same but different, right? You don't want to wake up in the morning and find somebody completely different in your bed. But if it's always the same, it's also a problem. So I thought this is a nice metaphor for what conductors, real great conductors, really do. But before we speak about that, I was bombarded in the last week from friends sending me a link to a video. So now I have to show you a little bit of that video. Obviously, this kid is very impressive, but what's more impressive is the title. It simply says, 3-year-old Jonathan conducting Beethoven Fifth. Now, I would like to see the sequel. 3-year-old Jonathan driving his dad's car. Or performing a surgery in the local hospital. It seems that it's, you cannot actually imitate a conductor, because once you do that, you are a conductor. You understand? Maybe. Certainly, this kid is great. I mean, but what do conductors really do? I wanted to show to you a little piece from a rehearsal, and I'm referring to that idea of doing the same but different. How do you make people do the same, still play classical music, but different? I guess it has to do with driving them out of their comfort zone. Now, it's very simple to drive people out of their comfort zone. Let's say we create some sort of agreement between us. I'll conduct you and you'll clap, okay? Let's do it. 1. Do it with me, just once. Oh. Now it's nice. Got you, right? But that's stupid. That's what conductors do when they are not really sure that they're needed. So they'll do everything. There's this story about an orchestra having to go on tour. And suddenly the conductor is sick. So they need another conductor. So one of the guys from the viola section volunteers, and he conducts the whole tour, and it goes very well, great success. After 3 weeks, he goes back to sit in the viola section. So his partner to his desk says, "Where have you been for the last 3 weeks?" And that's what leaders are afraid of. You know, even more than to be hated or to be feared, that's what they don't like. So look at that, and then we'll speak a little bit. That's Gergiev, Valery Gergiev, great conductor from your neighboring city of St. Petersburg.
Okay. Thank you. I would more aggressively, okay? And don't pay attention to what your nice, full colleague clarinet will do. It's not your business.
He says your business is just
your knowledge.
knowledge.
You work there with your own, You are not interested. If you become interested, we lose Stravinsky. You see what I mean? And I'm afraid a lot of us become interested in what the others are doing because we are called professionals. So we know that, but we have to play together. So I have to be nice because he is nice. Otherwise he will think we don't like each other, we don't understand each other. In fact, the key to play this score is not to understand each other, but to understand one man who composed it first. Because this is how it's written.
So he is driving the poor flute player out of her comfort zone. He wants her to do something aggressively. She doesn't want to, but he makes her get out of her comfort zone. But that's not enough. He drives the whole orchestra out of its culture, because a culture of the orchestra, something we conductors work very hard to instill, is to listen to each other. Yeah, you have to be part of the whole. We do it in real life, not only in orchestras. We do it in schools. Yeah, and he says, okay, now for this score, for this moment, you have to forget this and disregard the others. And that's very, very difficult for an organization. So you see, the job is to instill order and then disrupt the same order. Usually we think of leaders or managers as people who are responsible of the order, and then the young people, the rebels, the students, whatever, will do. No, leaders have to do it themselves, because it's not enough to create disorder. You have to somehow make people feel that this order can lead to new achievements. Now, you may remember Riccardo Muti. I used him in the last talk as the epitome of a dictator old-style conductor. Just look at this Muti short clip. This is Muti. Very short, but you could see that the guy is in charge of everything. Did you see that? Yeah? And very aggressively so. So not only you know what you need to be doing, you also know what will happen to you if you don't do what he's telling you to do. It's very, very clear. Now, the funny thing is that this guy went through a phase of a little bit of trouble. His own orchestra from Milano told him, we don't want to work with you anymore, because you are using us as instruments. You don't give us space. So he changed to what? Listen to what he tells an orchestra during rehearsals.
You, as musicians, you have to find the color inside you. Do, re, mi, mi, re, do, re, mi, mi, re, do, re, mi, mi, re. Suddenly. I can't do anything. You know, I can try to make a beautiful face. I mean, that is impossible for me. More and more, I less believe in what the conductors can do, because this is a race that should disappear. Fortunately, I am more than 50 years old, so in a few years I will retire. And because more and more I conduct, more I try to understand music, and less I understand this. It's not necessary. I'm serious. And so maybe, and we try all the time to make a lot of stupid things, like for example, that is very good for television then. See, Maestro Muti inspired. And I'm not doing nothing. It's you are trying very hard to play trumpets and violini. So I will try to do nothing. And you just go from Do maggiore to La bemolle maggiore.
He's simply, I love him. I love him just because of this, inability to find himself in anywhere that is not either this pole of I'm controlling everything or I'm not needed. In fact, what's nice about this little speech that he gives is that he does conduct them. He does make them partners. He does respect them. He does everything a conductor should be doing. Only he's claiming he's not conducting. Because for him, conducting is just taking control. So, could there be another way? Of course there could. We are looking behind the scenes of a conductor's work, and let's look at Carlos Kleiber, one of the big stars of the 20th century conducting, and let's see him in a very short clip, and he's behaving in a very Kleiberesque way. Let's see that. See that? He was simply standing there doing nothing. Was he conducting? Yes, he was conducting. He was conducting. He was conducting because there was a certain kind of... He was expecting something. And he was expecting something that was somehow built in the rehearsal. So now I show you a little bit of a rehearsal of Kleiber. Then you will understand why this is conducting and not, just being disrespectful to the orchestra. Let's see the rehearsal, please.
Meine Herren, das müsste so überlegen sein. Das müsste so überlegen sein, dass ich also völlig überflüssig werde. Das ist mein Traum. Und da wir Zeit haben, kann ich ihn vielleicht verwirklichen, vor allen Dingen mit Ihnen. Dass das nirgends bremst, dass das nirgends zur Aufgabe wird. Dass es sehr parfümiert ist. Eine wunderschöne Frau mit langen Beinen. Daher und ein bisschen von oben herab schaut sie uns an. Aber das macht sie umso reizvoller. Und nicht drauf die Begleitung auch, nicht? Die Crescendo machen sie nicht. Machen wir nicht. Ist der Bogen okay? Ja, sehr gut. Machen wir das erstmal, es ist sehr schwer zu sagen, machen wir erstmal technisch und dann mit Ausdruck. Weil komischerweise finden Sie nicht, die Technik ist der Ausdruck gleichzeitig. Wenn man also technisch macht ohne Ausdruck, ist nichts. Machen Sie es gleich im Ausdruck und werben Sie, nicht um mich oder um sonst jemand, sondern um eine imaginäre Schöne. Und denn Sie werden sie rumkriegen mit Ihrer Geige, wenn Sie es sicher. 2, 5.
So you see how you make the musicians your partners? You simply put this image, this metaphor before them, and you let them do the step into it to get ownership of the thing. And now, in concert, they're not doing what he wants them to do. They're simply doing what they understand about a common meaning that the music has. And it's nice to see, because Kleiber is a man of processes. But as he says, technique doesn't exist by itself. Technique is already expression. You cannot just drill technique into people. They need to understand the why. And therefore, when they become your partners, you can get to what he said in the first phrase. I'd like not to be necessary. I'd like to be redundant. And if we have enough time, we'll get there. Now, the great master of instilling meaning into the music as a common core for everybody to cooperate on was Leonard Bernstein. And I wanted to see part of Bernstein's rehearsal with young audiences. I thought about you, so this is Bernstein with a young orchestra. And they have a huge challenge because they have to play The Rite of Spring from Stravinsky, which is a very difficult piece of music. They have very little rehearsal time, and the people from in the orchestra came from all over the world, so they have no experience in playing together. How do you get them to do that? Through meaning. Look at that.
I think you're all too well-mannered. You've been brought up too well. Trop bien éduqué. The big downbeat in the tutti has to last the full quarter. Really bestial. I mean, this is beastly music brought to the highest, most refined point. So that means tubas until the second beat. Do it. That's right. You play ball. We need this. It's primeval, primordial, whatever you want to call it. I mean, these are big, prehistoric memories of Russia, or of the animal kingdom, whatever you want to call it. Whether it's a rhinoceros or a buffalo, or just the feeling that one has in the spring sometimes, of wanting to be immersed in the earth itself. You know, you've all been through that. These dances are all performed by adolescents, so I guess a lot of you should know what I'm talking about. But think of that. Think of the times. I'm not just wasting words. All the times that we all experience in adolescence, and I remember like yesterday, when you're lying on the ground and it's spring or summer, and you lie down face down on the ground and you want to kiss it. You watch the grass grow. You listen to the grass grow, and you want it just to enfold you. You've all had that experience. You're lying near a tree trunk and you want to take it in your arms. That's what that downbeat is, okay? Too much talk.
Too much talk or not? Or just the right amount? You see, the nice thing about it is that this guy's improvising. He says at the beginning, this is memories from prehistoric Russia, which is the truth. But what does he see? It doesn't connect. So he has to come up with something different. He could have told him, you know, when you grow up, you'll understand. Just play now. No, he doesn't. He said, okay, let's find something else. Maybe a rhinoceros or a buffalo or something. But that's a little too childish, maybe. It was there, now he's there. And my point is that the meaning is always about relations. It's always about who are you speaking to. It's never off the shelf something. That's the meaning of it. That's nothing. The meaning always comes out from the relations, entangled with relations. So he creates this kind of relations where he can say, I remember like yesterday, and he becomes one of them. And you're lying on the ground. And this is quite a strange metaphor because, you know, how many of you hug trees on a daily basis, let's say? Maybe, oh, good. Good for you. So, you know, young people, you know, can be quite cynical about it. You know, what's this? But why does it work? It works because he's authentic. Because when he does, you can believe him. And that's the fuel that makes this jump from this reality to the reality where you do hug trees possible. You know, it's like in theater. Yeah, you know the suspension of disbelief. Do you know that? What it means? You know, like you have two trees on here, and they're made of plywood, but people are telling you that this is the Schwarzwald. And it's very dangerous to enter. Say, what Schwarzwald? I can see the screws from the other side. That means you don't understand the theater. But theater is about suspension of disbelief. Get into it. And once you do, you can actually fly. So that's leadership. Well, just touching upon the different ways of great conductors to take people from their reality, their comfort zone, to somewhere else, but making this somewhere else zone still comfortable enough to work with and be meaningful. Now, just to end up, I'll show you a video I've used before, but I think it's so beautiful because it puts everybody out of their comfort zones. Also the audience, the expectations of the audience. Also himself, I think. And certainly the orchestra. But the results are just fantastic. So look at this last video, and with that we can say goodbye. Please, Bernstein, Haydn. So you see, everything was wrong and everything was right. And this is what I wish you all, to get to that point where you can do everything out of the box and still everything will be right. Thank you so much. Thank you.